We're back. So our next step, as mentioned at the end of the previous video, is to obtain more copper ore, because one of our copper smelters is reporting that it's not able to request in the copper that it needs. And we have blueprints and such for that. So we're good. We don't need this radar anymore. So boom. Everything's flowing, and we are going to be chewing through our buffered up stuff. But for now, let's just head out to our ore area, and we're going to pick some copper. How about this guy right here? He's got 183 million units of copper. I believe I can mine from here and use up maybe these 4 cells. I might have to overlap into those. Not really clear. So this is going to mean reworking those 4 intersections there. That's fine. Let's start off with this far intersection. Now we're seeing that the amount of copper ore being requested is going up and up and up and up and up, so we're probably going to need more than 1 mine, but we'll see. We're also seeing that we only have the 1 alert. We're not getting alerts on these cases where we're not able to find ore in the network. So I'm not sure what's up with that. So, in fact, instead of trying to do 1 intersection at a time, I'm just going to kill off all of this and let the trains reroute for a little bit. The nice thing about having a nice rectangular grid of train lines like this is I can kill off all this stuff, and all the trains have other ways of getting around. They can reroute. So now let's pick up the replacement areas. Real simple. I probably should have measured to see if I could have made a loader like that. I think this is probably too close. Well, let's look before we go much further. The LTN ore loading is like this. So if we zoom in, this means my ore station could go, well, there. And I'm not sure whether, is this? Yeah, I might have been able to make it fit. Not sure though. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's give it an honest shot here. I can place these back in place. Like that. Oops. This guy will need to be messy, 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 messy. So Control C. I'm going to grab all of this to use as this line, and all of this to use as that area. Yay, building everything on grids. So now this is a matter of having this entry up here look like this entry up here. So it's left-hand drive, so we're coming down this guy. We want coming down here to go over to here. Now, we can't go very far up. And the other problem is that the other line needs to go here as well. So the ace in the hole here is that this rail signal can be on a curve. I don't have to have perfect parking that's perfectly straight here. So we're going to put that there just for now. Actually, we need there. Let's kill that and there. Now, this train just fits. This train comes back just around the corner. So if I grab one of these and I mouse over here again and I put my finger on the end of that train, I think I can put this down here. And this perfectly fits. But I don't like too tight on these, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this parallel here. And now we signal this guy. Boom and boom. Here we go. And there's lead out area and he just merges right in like that. And we are here and here. Actually, let's put it here and here. So we still have the lead out parking and the lead in parking. We're ready to go. So now we need to place the mine itself, which is the big mine array, which is total overkill, but that's okay because we know that it's big enough for anybody. And I believe that covers everything. Yep. And the other thing is that my blueprints have these super radars and power in them. We want to make sure that everything is hooked up. So we grab some electric poles. I do a pole from there. 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 Now this needs to be 256. There we go. And we are supplying when we get to 360 stacks. We are splitting and balancing, and then we are also conditionalizing the insertion to keep these roughly the same. And again, I have found that 15, well, 5 wasn't enough, and 10 wasn't enough, and 15 might have been enough. But 30 is probably better. There. I want to make sure that we still flow the ore in just as fast as we can. How do you like how fast those bulk loaders load? That's really nice. Without bulk loaders, we would have much larger stations with much more complicated loading sets, and we would have to have more mines so that we could load them properly. Now, with the new mine coming online, our power should have changed. And what I'm seeing is that our power actually fell off on the way in, probably because we were running low on copper. So we're going to have to wait until the copper ore gets, it filters back into our smelters that have run low. It's also possible that we need more than one ore station at this point to catch back up. So one way of doing that is let's take a look at what our consumption of copper ore is versus our consumption of copper plate. And you'll notice that over the last hour, our copper plate consumption has consistently exceeded the ore. So what's happened here is we have shifted over our circuits from using infinite copper plate to using smelted copper plate, which is why this jumped. And we don't have enough ore coming in to meet the demand. And over the last 10 hours, we have averaged a demand of 50,000 copper plate per minute. And our current production is on the order of 17. So we need a lot more copper supplies. Let's take a look at the same thing in iron. Again, we had before this, when we were running at the let's get our science up here so we can be sure to be looking at our consumption rates when we're at 900 per minute. Oh, well, this won't have dropped off until we this won't drop off until we actually run through all of our pipelining. So this tells us that we need about 33 to 34,000 iron plate per minute, and we're like just under half that. And looking at the same thing here, we need 54,000 copper plate per minute. Call it 50, and we are way low. Okay. So if we wanted to double iron and triple copper, what we need to do? Oh, I need to fix my names. Unless I want to just not worry about names. These guys can have any name they want, really. Yeah, I'm going to start just leaving my request stations with random names, and if I ever need to chase them down by name, then I will give them a name. Okay, so I have iron mine AB and iron mine CD, so I got 2 iron mines here. So I need a couple more iron mines and a bunch more copper mines. So yeah, I think our most pressing need is going to be the copper, because we are actively running low on copper. So the next step is to go out to this copper ore over here. I do not believe he is far enough from this line for us to do things properly, but I can I can just steal these verticals as my input. I could just use that vertical. Make it move right or left as necessary. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to start laying out copper mine here in this copper ore. It's going to be different because I'm not going to lay the grid out. Well, no, I've got to lay the grid out or I won't get a grid. Put the new cell. So there's the cells that are containing that copper ore. So let's place all of this. And remember, when I put these new cells down, this is placing some radars along with it. Okay. So some of these rails go away, and I'm going to abscond with the verticals for my inputs and outputs. Let's put this here. Okay, so if I make this line up, then I'm going to miss part of the ore loading station. It's left-hand drive, so if I put it here, maybe it'll work. So what that tells me is that I need to kill all of this out through, let's just do that much of it. So if we go here, I want to keep these aligned so that I can join up properly, and if I go farther to the left, that gives me more working room. Let's do that. So from here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's about right, and that's about centered. And our mine would hook up just like that. Pretty slick. So given that, we now need to adjust these guys. Okay. And this guy, we're a left-hand drive. This is only an exit lane. So there. And now we need the proper partial intersections for the rest of these. So these guys come from something like this. Do this whole thing from map mode. If you've got the radar coverage, it's so much easier. And we can flip these around to put these in. That way when we later build the grid out to the right, it will work. And I'm going to have to adjust these two by hand. Oh, let's do a little deforestation here. Trees and rocks go away in this entire area. Thank you. So, this guy plumbs in here and here. So we have traffic coming down here, and he needs a chain signal there. That chain signal assures that we will do the appropriate thing. These actually have different names. Make sure they actually have different names. Yes, they have unique names. And now this needs to plumb in down here. I am going to bring it through like that. So where is our signal here? This should be here. Yep, there it is. And what I'm going to do is set this. Oh, these are already chain signals. Let's chain signal him. Unless he's got a. Does he have room for full train here? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's not quite a full train, but it is a full train if we go all the way back to here. So I am going to make these like that. There's no other way to get into this block, so it's not important that these are not chain signals. And down here, I could leave this here, but I would like it to be tidy. So instead, I am going to very carefully kill the rails that won't be used. Did I get him? Okay, I think that's got him. So delivery of rocket fuel. 256A. Removed after timeout. What's going on with 256A? Oh my goodness, look at that. It looks like we have a train stuck in this depot station, 256A. Okay, let's clear up this intersection here and go up and fix it. We are also going to need to run honest power out. So, intersection and power, and then 256A. Okay, power. Again, the blueprints have radar and infinite power installed. So we need to fix that. There. So we are on the normal power grid now. We are still using 2.7 out of 10 gigawatts for the whole kit and caboodle. This looks really good. Yeah, look at this. We have these spikes when we're charging that are so short. So, yeah. So we need to go up to 256A. Where did it go? It's up here. Yeah, that's not a healthy depot. The other thing I need to do is to get rid of the radars that I put in there. There we go. So I wonder what's gone wrong with that lead train. He should have dumped his load and continued, and we shouldn't have requested any more trains in. But you see, all of these trains are all locked up trying to get in there. Now the danger of this is that if we actually run out of train fuel, then we run the risk later of having one of these trains just park in the middle of the whole the kit and caboodle and block everybody up. So these guys, we're not unloading because we are done unloading. And why is this even requesting a train? So we want 9.6K and we have 8. Oh, this is that problem I had earlier. I've noticed this before where I forgot to set my requests appropriately for these guys being full. We got 480 per. What I really want is to have it half full. So apparently my robots took all of them from the top. So let's see, 480 by 12 would be 4.8K plus 5. Hold on, calculator time. Clear. So 480 times 12. So we want basically half full. So 5760 is what we want to request. And the threshold, like I said, I'm not sure whether the threshold is how many you have space for or how many you want. But this is 40 stacks. Hold on. So 800 would be a full train. So this train has 640 in it. What if I just dismiss that train like that? Let's just clear out all these trains. Interesting that these didn't start picking up until there was stuff into the top. So we now have 9,000 in here. I'm going to set this to half of 5760. So 5760, half of that would be 2880. So I'm thinking that the threshold is how many you are down by, so it's a minimum transfer. And a full train would be 40 stacks per wagon times 4 wagons times 10 per stack would be 1,600. So I am going to put this at 1,600, like that. And I think I'm going to put this at minus 4,800 to say I want 3 trains. And now I'm going to copy this to the other stations. Because if we've got this problem on one, we've got this problem on all of them. And notice this is the same thing. So he's now fixed. So I'm going to want to check our other depots as well. So I need 4,800 request and 1,600 threshold. So now we know what happens if you get those wrong. So depot 128. Now I think I did some work on the 128 fueling separately. So the 128s may already be set to reasonable numbers. You notice that we hit a higher UPS here when we have fewer creative mod items out. So one of the motivations for the order that I'm doing things in now is to get rid of those infinite supplies. I think this will be the last time I use infinite supply and testing of high-end things. I think we need to go the other direction and start off with building up sources and then scaling things in parallel so that we don't have to have basically mock sources. So let's see, what does this look like? 4800, 400, aha! Okay, let's set these to the same numbers. Okay, he was also set like that. So if I am reasoning correctly, this means that these stations will have been requesting fuel 400 at a time, which would basically mean one row per cargo wagon. Let's see what they've been getting. Can I select just for shipments of fuel? Haha, this isn't telling me infinite for what? Sort by shipment, maybe? Okay, so sort by shipment's going to sort by quantity. So, okay, here's for 256A. We were requesting in 960 rocket fuel at a time. And I don't see smaller requests, so yeah, we don't actually have to request fuel into our depots very often. So yeah, that's probably not in the records. It's fine. So let's check LTN Depot 1 and 2. These are similar stations, and we see that they are network ID 2, so I don't want to just paste on top of them. But this is minus 4800 for the request and 1600 for the threshold. And the other guy is same thing, but he should be network 1. Yeah. Actually, all these guys should be the network of the trains that deliver fuel. So I think they're all network. Shouldn't they all be network 1? No, I suppose 1 and 2 are both okay. That means he'll be requesting fuel using one of his own trains. That's fine as long as the fuel station allows networks 1 and 2. Okay, so when we actually build the fuel station, we may have to go around and fix the network numbers on all of the stations that request fuel. So with that change, now that we've got, come on, now that we have our coal coming in from here, I'm not seeing any notifications from LTN that it's unable to pick up coal. Let's take a look at our inventory. We have somebody that's requesting 16K coal, or 16K copper. And let's see here. Yeah, and we have a whole bunch requested. So it could be that we've got enough ore right now for the smelters to feed the people that are requesting plates in using LTN. So there's still some guys requesting plates in here that aren't going through LTN. So we don't need to put more mines down immediately. We can wait until we have built more of the actual guys that use them. So let's get the markers on these guys. So advanced circuits, 3rd gen. There we go. So it would also be an interesting idea to perhaps increase the number of circuits and add in a factory or several factories for building modules of various sorts. That will be useful when we start thinking about using this factory to provide parts to scale up to the next level. So if we're going from, say, 900 per minute up to 2700 per minute, so that would be each kind of science on a blue belt. That's a pretty large scale, and I think that the main challenge at that scale is just getting all of the mines laid out, so it's less interesting to me. So I'm not sure if we're going to scale this up or if I'm just going to kind of catch this base in amber once it's all done and all the creative mod stuff is gone, just kind of freeze it and say, this is my reference base for 900 science per minute, with everything scaled to 1K and then throttled to 900, and then show that it can hold that basically forever until it starts running out of ore. And then use that as a reference design when we want to do something else. So we still have our starter base up here. In fact, we still have the jumpstart base and the builder base all set up here. And they are sufficient to provide us with materials in case we want to extend our solar power. But we're at almost 10 gigawatts of solar power and we're not using half of it. So I am thinking we're good at this point. So the next step will be to start scaling, well, not scale up, but to relocate this layer of the factory and expand it so that we can use the 3.8 inputs for the items that need them, the copper and the iron and actually not all these need to scale up. Oh, nope. RCUs are the only one that won't need to be expanded. Okay, but we'll need to expand the others. Low density structures, I will think about maybe combining those so that we have one double wide, because you have to be double wide for the station, but as long as we're going double wide, perhaps one double wide station can feed all of the things. So I'm thinking that low density structures will be what we fire up with next time. So I'm going to put that on the to-do list. Add new low density structures. Now, low density structures use a lot of copper. So that's probably why we saw such a high usage of copper, but we didn't actually need the copper ore yet. So we'll see. So I think next is low density structures, and At some point, we're going to actually need to build the petroleum refinery that produces all of the plastic and such that goes into all of this. But I think we can defer that, maybe? Maybe? Okay, well, see you in the next video.